What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video here on Ranger Central. And today I'm going to be doing my second chance bracket, as I did so good in round one that I thought, you know what, let me double down and do my second chance. And if you can't tell, that's blatant sarcasm. And I'm going to preface that before I start everything, that I'm probably going to get things wrong. So please do not take it personal. I unfortunately do not control what happens in the NHL. If I did, I would have the Rangers be the best dynasty in the NHL. But unfortunately, I'm stuck with literally the ass opposite, where they are, the the worst original six team in terms of cups. So yeah, that's where we're at. But either way, I'm going to do my second chance bracket. Before I jump into everything, leave a like on the video if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you guys are new to the channel, especially if you are Ranger fans. I'm going to be doing a draft lottery live stream later on tonight, so be on the lookout for that. But yeah, without further ado, let's jump into it, talk about my picks and all that other stuff. So I got half of them right after the first round, I believe, because I picked Washington to win, which was correct. I picked Carolina to win, Vegas, and Winnipeg. Unfortunately, though, Toronto, I kind of had a feeling was going to win. I even said it during my prediction that picking Ottawa was more of a gut pick, and honestly, they almost reverse swept them. And then freaking LA, man. LA is just, they got to make big changes, which they changed out their GM, all that stuff. The Dallas one did surprise me a little bit, honestly, just because of the injuries. And then Florida, Tampa, I'll get to what I said then when we get to this series. But let's talk about this. So Winnipeg and Dallas, I'm going with the Dallas Stars. I just was not impressed with what I saw from Winnipeg in that first round against the St. Louis Blues. And I know people are going to say, well, what do you mean? They went 7 games like Dallas did, and Dallas didn't have the lead for that long in many of those games, which is true. But I just think that when you compare St. Louis to Colorado, I mean, I'm sorry, that's not comparable. And maybe that's just me speaking because I had Colorado in the finals from the West. But I also just think Dallas is the deeper team. They might have Miro Heiskanen come back at some point during the series. Jason Robertson, which is why I didn't even pick them to win that first round, because of those two being hurt. If they were healthy, it would have made it a little bit more intriguing to pick Dallas. And they beat Colorado without those two. If those two come back, I just don't see a world where they lose to Winnipeg personally. But again, could be wrong. Could be wrong. I gotta preface that here. Vegas and Edmonton. This one's a little tough just because of the fact where it's like, you can't count out Connor McDavid. You can't count out Leon Draisaitl. But I also can't count out the Golden Knights, who I'm ultimately going to pick, just because of the fact that I think they are, like I said, with Dallas compared to Winnipeg. I think they're the deeper team. I think they're deeper than LA was. And LA, honestly, I know Edmonton fans won't want to hear it, but LA really should have won that series. But they freaking urinated all over themselves in game 3 and 4. And, had that not happen, we're talking about Edmonton going home in 4 or 5 games potentially, which I know that's an if scenario. That's not what actually happened. We got to go by what happened. But I just was not convinced with what I saw from Edmonton that first round. But at the same time, there's something to be said where maybe they flip a switch in round number 2 and maybe they get back to where they were a little bit more of last year. And if that's the case, no doubt in my mind that they could be a team that goes to the finals. But for right now, I just like what I saw from Vegas in comparison to what I saw from Edmonton in that first round. Dallas and Winnipeg, I'm going to go with the Dallas Stars in, I think I'm going to go 5 games here. I hate to write off Winnipeg that quickly, but I just really don't like this matchup for Winnipeg. And maybe I'm crazy for underestimating them, but insane comeback they pulled off last night. But I just, again, you're not going to do that against Dallas, which now I'm sure someone will find this, clip this, put it in edit when they do have a comeback win against Dallas at some point. And then with Vegas and Edmonton, I'm going to go with Vegas in 6 games. I do think Edmonton does have a shot at winning the series, but I'm going to go 6 games there. Toronto and Florida. This one's easy. I'm picking Florida. I'm sorry, Toronto fans. Believe me, I would be more than okay with Toronto winning this series. I'd be very happy if they won the series, to be completely honest with you. But Florida is just that good. I mean, they're the deepest team in the league, in my opinion. Just from the forward group, the back end. I love everything that they have there. And the fact that they handled who I picked winning the Stanley Cup Finals in round number 1. But I did also preface, in that matchup that Florida very easily could win the series. And I'll say what else I said later on. But I just think Florida's too good of a hockey team, where Toronto, I don't know how much of a chance they really have, to be honest with you, which you can't doubt, I guess, the talent that they have up front. But I just think Florida is just so good of a team, and just it's just not fair. It's just really freaking annoying how good they are. But let's move on to the final series here in the East. Washington and Carolina. There's not a doubt I'm picking Carolina over the PDO Kings. Washington struggled with a Montreal team, and Carolina, they've been there, done that. The only thing I think that's stopping Carolina, honestly, is themselves, if anything. It's really just going to come down to if the goaltending will hold up for that entire series. But to me, I just think Carolina is the more complete team. I think they play the better brand of hockey. I'm going with the Carolina Hurricanes. Florida, I'm sorry, I'm calling a sweep here. And bold, I'll be honest, it's bold. More likely going to go 5 or 6. I'm going bold, though. I'm going Florida in 4. It just, what I saw in that Tampa series, I can't count out the dominance of that team. And I know I'm glazing them so much, but I really admire how good of a team they are. I really do. And then the Carolina Hurricanes, I have them winning in 6 games. I think Washington will put up a good fight, but it's just not going to be enough to overcome the Carolina Hurricanes, who have been there, done that sort of deal. Now we move on to the conference finals. Dallas and Vegas. So this is a very, very interesting matchup. I think I got to lean Dallas ever so slightly because I like the advantage that they have in terms of depth scoring, and I like the advantage they have in goal compared to Vegas. With that said, Vegas does, in my opinion, even with Miro Heiskanen back, have the better blue line. I think Vegas has one of the best blue lines in the entire NHL. But I'm just leaning towards Dallas because I also think if they take care of Winnipeg very quickly, like I predict, I just think that they're going to be able to handle this Vegas Golden Knights squad and start to get healthier a little bit more. Robertson, Heiskanen will both be more to 100%, closer to 100%, I should say, compared to where they'll be earlier on. So I'm going with the Dallas Stars. And then in the East, I mean, I've been glazing them the entire time. I'm going with the Florida Panthers. I just think that, again, they're that good, and I'm picking them to win the Stanley Cup. Like I said in that video that I did for my first bracket, whoever comes out of the Florida Tampa series, to me, was the Stanley Cup champion. I just thought it was no doubt going to be that way. And now that Florida beat Tampa Bay in the fashion they did, I think I've seen enough to crown them the champions, at least in my opinion. I think they're going back to back. They just look like they have not lost the beat. They look like they have not ran out of gas, which could change. I'll admit it could change by the Stanley Cup Finals as more games are progressed. But it's just, in my opinion, like if they take care of Toronto in 4 games like I predict, or even 5, and then Carolina, I mean, they don't win conference finals games. So if they take care of them in 4 or 5, and they're that fresh going into a Stanley Cup Finals where Dallas has to go through probably like a 6-7 game series to beat the Vegas Golden Knights, I just think that the Florida Panthers are going to be a little more fresh than any other team. And even then, I mean, if you want to talk about the mileage from some of these guys, a lot of them were we're not playing down the stretch. Like Matthew Tkachuk didn't play that much down the stretch. Ekblad is fresh because of the suspension and everything. And a couple other names I'm forgetting. I mean, Barkov, I think, missed some games as well. Marchand missed games. So a lot of these guys on Florida, even though they made a deep run last year, a lot of them are fresh. And I just think they look too dangerous. And maybe I just overrate Tampa. Who knows? Maybe that's what it is. And maybe I'm overrating Florida here. But to me, I got to stick with my guns here and say I think that whoever won that series, I think wins the Stanley Cup. But that's going to be it for me. Let me know how much you hate my predictions in the comment section. Don't forget to leave a like if you haven't. Don't forget to subscribe. Turn on your notifications so you know I upload or go live. And I'll see you guys in the next one.